Buffy is one of my favorite shows. I would actually say Buffy is my favorite show of all time. What makes Buffy? Let's think. Well, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I have the Chosen collection, all 7 seasons. And it's a 40-disc set. 39 are for the actual episodes, and the last is full of features, I think. I haven't gotten to that part yet. I'm still on season 3 right now. But anyway, so one of the commentaries on that is Buffy, meaning, well, let me say it like this. Buffy. That denotes a comical sense. And this isn't coming up from my own mind. This is from one of the commentary things, not commentary, interviews with the writing staff. Buffy kind of gives you that comedic Valley Girl sense. Vampire gives the horror. Slayer, the action. And you have to have a the. So, that's what Buffy the Vampire Slayer is. If you take all those elements, you have Buffy. There's comedy. There's humor. You have vampire, obviously. That's what the show's about. I mean, not about per se, but I mean, that's what she is. She's a vampire slayer. She slays vampires. She slays demons. So vampire, there's that horror sense. And slayer, action. There's that action. That's what she does. She's an action person. So Buffy has quite a few friends throughout the series. I think her best friend would be Willow. I think she has 2 very, very close friends. Maybe Willow and Xander. But Willow really is her best friend. So, what can I say? Buffy is this girl. She's a cheerleader in LA. And I'm obviously talking about the movie right now, which, by the way, didn't go over so well. And believe me, a very dedicated Buffy fan would not find that movie to be very appealing, except in the sense of wanting to see maybe where the series would have started. But the movie was poorly done. But, I think the movie was a starting place, though, because it brought us the series. The thing was, the movie... Alright, Buffy was a cheerleader in LA. She, one of those girly girls... she was just very much the girly girl, cheerleader, snobby type. And then we're introduced to Merrick. No. Yes. Merrick. Okay. Merrick. Oh, I think that's his name. Anyway. But, so he's her watcher. Now, a watcher, as we find out throughout the course of the series, is just that. They watch. And they're comprised of the Watchers Council. They, as we learn throughout the series, like I said, they were, their first formation would have been the Shadow Men, who were 3 men in Africa, I'm assuming, who took a girl from a village and chained her down and infused a demonic spirit into her, which gives the Slayer her strength. This girl was the first Slayer. So yeah, so technically the Slayer is part demon in a sense, because they have the soul, the spirit of a demon in them, infused into them, which gives them their raw strength, their speed. That's how they're better than everyone else. And so that was the first Slayer, and the dynasty of the Slayers is that every generation, one girl, is made to be the Slayer. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of potentials in the world, but only one is selected to be the Slayer. Through what means, we don't really know. That would have to be expanded upon in some other manner, because the series is over, and I don't think you'd want to bring back the series. Sorry about that. What was I saying? you probably wouldn't want to bring back the series just to answer the question of how the Slayer is selected. And that's not even a series question. That's something that could be addressed by Joss himself or in a comic or something. Yeah, definitely not worth resurrecting the series just to find out that little factoid. Yet I'd still like to know, because it is an interesting thing. How do you select, out of thousands possibly of potentials, how do you select who is to be born to the Slayer destiny, you know? But anyway, so Merrick is her watcher in the movie, and then he dies, and I forget who killed him. It was a vampire. It might have been... See, that movie's just not very memorable to me. So, we're gonna go... anyway, so at the end of the movie, she burns the school gym down because there are a bunch of vampires in there. That's the basic... That's the start of the season. The series. Is that she, Buffy, and her mother moved to Sunnydale, which is a fictional city. Sunnydale, California, to start their new life because she was expelled from her school. So this is where everything starts. I mean, because you can count the movie in continuity, but really, when you think about Buffy, you don't think about the movie so much as you think about the series. You know, I've always been a fan of series because series get to have a mythology. A movie, you get better effects, but in the long run, a movie can be 3 hours. You don't get as much information as you do in a series. Now, there are drawbacks to a series as well, because so the advantages of a movie are better effects, you know, better budget. And the drawback is that you don't get a lot of mythology. You don't get a whole lot of information. You get what's kind of pertinent to the story, and that's it. You don't get so much. But, okay, now a series. Now, the drawback of a series is that there are continuity issues. I can't think of one for Buffy right now. So, if you're a fan of Charmed, which is a show about 3 witches, here's an example. In Charmed, early on in the season, a warlock is described as a witch who's gone evil, or just a magical race that are basically the evil equivalent to witches in general, right? Or they can also be cats, familiars who disobey their witch 3 times or something. But later in the series, there are evil witches, but they're not warlocks, which doesn't make sense. It's a continuity issue. It wouldn't have happened in a movie, but you wouldn't have gotten a whole lot of information. So you can see the advantages of a movie. There's usually going to be no continuity issues, whereas with a TV show, you can have them, especially a long-running TV show. But back to Buffy. Okay, so, alright. Now, alright, so I have 1 minute, maybe a minute and a half left, and this will be a series of videos. I don't know how long it'll go, but so Buffy starts off in Sunnydale, and her first friend, I want to say, is Willow. I think she met Willow first, and then she meets Xander. And actually, I think she met Cordelia at the same time as Xander, or maybe possibly before or a little bit after. They were in the same scene, though. And so, you know, all of those characters that she met at first are kind of like who she stays with through the series. There's some Jonathan, who later becomes part of the evil trio, along with Warren and Andrew. Warren and Andrew, yes. The other one is some kind of popular kid, but he doesn't last long. In fact, I think he dies in the first episode, or maybe the second episode. Well, anyway. But, yeah, that's basically what Buffy is. It's comedy. And I'll even sum this up in characters who most exhibit these. Be comedy, which would be like Xander. He's so funny. He has that ironic thing going on. I mean, they all have it, but he's like the poster child for comedy. And then you have horror. That would be just represented by all the vampires and all the demons. And then you have action, and I would mostly say that for Buffy. I mean, that could also be attributed to the vampires and the demons, but I would attribute that to Buffy the most because she takes the most action. I'm going to end it now.